Now, back in those days, Delta Airlines had what they called a Delta Pass. $300 for the 30-day unlimited mileage pass, or $600 for a 60-day pass. Some occasions I would fly from Los Angeles to New York. In New York, turn around and fly back to Los Angeles, sleep on the plane, and be in time for a 9 o'clock appointment that I had in Los Angeles. You might laugh about it, but with the exchange rate that we had and paid for accommodation, that was actually a very good deal or a smart plan to make. One year, I just had my camp built in the Mumwa area, and Tia and Luiki and Talia came to visit me, which was just great because I had another week or so before clients of mine came for their came for a buffalo hunt, a 7-day buffalo hunt, and I had a great time with the two kids in camp. We spent some days driving around, fishing. Uh, we in those days, once every 2 weeks or so, we would shoot a buffalo for the staff, or even for the local villages, and drop the buffalo off there. And when I was lucky that I could have one buffalo. I had my son shoot one buffalo. Louis was 13 years old when he shot his first buffalo. That's not every day that one has that kind of opportunity. It was just, it was just great. And and that was during this visit of Tia that I saw that we were really drifting apart. Um, how it works and how it materialized, I would see just an example is when I'm away from home, she's the head of the household. She would run that household. She thinks fit. Rules apply to the children the way she thinks fit. When I'm back November, December, I feel I'm the head of the household, so I start doing things my way again, and immediately leads to tension between the two of us. And I saw that things were not going the way they should. There were some fun days as well. I remember one specific incident. We had a problem with one of the kerosene freezers. The damn thing just wouldn't be cooling down and freeze as it should have done. And I just have to read to you how it exactly works. I can't remember exactly how it works, but here it is. With a kerosene, it has a kerosene freezer, works on a little a fire, a little flame that is lit with a kerosene pit burning, but you just have to have it just right. Too big, if it's burning red, the flame, the thing won't work. It has to be just burning so that it's burning blue. Now, how it works is this. Heat is applied to the ammonia and water solution in the generator. The heat comes from the burning gas, the propane or kerosene. The liquid ammonia makes its way to the evaporator where it mixes with hydrogen gas and evaporates, producing cold temperatures inside the refrigerator's cold box. It's tricky though. As I say, the flame must be set to burn low and small, but blue. if it's not adjusted properly, the process as described simply won't work, and the freezer will not function as one would like it to work. I had a waiter with the name of Kebby. Very good waiter. Young little kid. No, not young. I must have been in his early 20s. And I came back from a hunt one day. And I asked, and I had Italian clients with me. And as we came back and sat down and had a beer or whatever, a martini or whatever for the Italian clients, I asked Kebby, I said, Kebby, what's that fridge doing? Is it working as it should? And very naive as Kebby was, he said, no one, no luck with this fridge. I think this fucking fridge, she's just fucking lazy. I laughed. I think I had the tears rolling down my eyes with this bloody story. I, one another funny story I have to tell you. We were hunting in Sitjafulo area, and we had with clients, and we were following buffalo. But we were walking and walking and walking, and oh man, it was eventually it was so late that we had to turn around. And I said to my tracker, his name was Samora. I said, Samora, we better turn around. You know, we're not going to find these buffalo. Yeah, and he agreed. Yeah, we got to turn around. So we turn around, but we walk and walk and walk, and it's now just about sunset, and there's still no sign of the vehicle. I said to him, Samora, and that was probably the wrong thing to say to him. I said, remember that's in the days of before GPSs. You just walk on instinct, going there and coming back to the Jeep. Now walk 20 miles and find the Jeep walking back. You don't see your own tracks or whatever the case may be. I said to him, Samora, you know, I think we are lost. Yes, and that guy exploded. He was probably about 80, 85 years old. And he yelled at me. He said, Buana, no, we are not lost. The road is lost. We are here. We are here. The road is lost. We are not lost. So we were not going to make it back to the Jeep. So we decided, okay, we're going to gather some firewood, etc., 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 and settle in for the night. We did that, and it was a long and cold night. You know, we had no blankets, we had nothing, we had no pillows. Sat around the fire the whole night. Following morning, we decided, okay, when sort of getting light, we decided, okay, the earlier we got to start, the better. And we started walking where we knew we should be going. Lo and behold, we didn't walk 400 yards. And there the vehicle was. There the vehicle was. Now, another thing that I had that was also nice with the hunting safaris, got nothing to do with hunting, but on all my safaris, were 7 days or a 10-day or a 14, 21-day hunt, I had one night set aside as a formal dinner. Around the fire, you had to wear your tuxedo. I advised clients to bring a tuxedo. They had a lady with them to bring her smarts and beautifuls to wear. And we would have believe it or not, a gramophone that you would crank up, one of those His Master's voices, and we'd play opera music in the lapa around the fire. Everybody dressed out in their tuxedos and in their smarts. And if I look at my guest book, everybody considered that a highlight of the safari. I don't know what happened to all those records. but it was, everybody considered that a highlight of the safari, the formal evening.
What did you call your camp?
No, it depends on where the camp was. I mean, different areas, in Chanyuzi, Sichafulo, Mumbwa, different areas that we hunted.
Okay, so then you would set up camp in those different areas, and you'd have to go.
No, you'd have that camp for the whole hunting season, or for a period of lease. It can be 2-3 years, and then you'd put in another tender, and they came up for tender, and next time maybe you get drawn for another area, and you had that for 2-3 years.
How long did you do camps for?
Well, your safari was either 6 days or 14 days or 21 days, but you had to space them so that you had a 6-day hunting safari, or a 14-day hunting safari, or a 21-day hunting safari.
How many different areas did you set up camp in
Just one area, one camp for that
that season?
yeah.
And then how many years did you do camps like that?
Oh, like I say, the camps would be allocated for maybe for 2 years or 3 years.
How long did you do different camps?
Maybe I don't know, understand what.
How long did you set up camps for hunting for
No,
5
you would
years?
only hunt from July to October. Then you would break down the camp because then it's rainy season. It's impassable. So you only hunted from June to from May to October.
So my question is, how many years did you do that with camps like that? And you owned them and put them up?
Oh, baby, I don't know. I must have hunted in Zambia for something like 10 years. Hmm.
But it's also nice to hear how it was orchestrated.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was it.
Well, what about that Italian lady with the eggs? Is that in
And that was the same lady with the lady fridge, with the lazy fridge.
I know you like to tell that story.
Yeah, but one day it was probably around about brunch time, and we were having cold platter for brunch, and she wanted to know what that was, and we told her, no, that was that, and that's salami, and that is buffalo tongue. And she looked at her husband, she looked at me, she said, no, she will not eat something that comes out of animal's mouth. And I looked at her and I said, you bloody spoiled brat. I said, Kebby, she doesn't want to eat something that comes out of an animal's mouth. Go and boil her some eggs.
Was she clueless?
I think she got it, but she didn't say anything.
Anything else you want to add about that?
No, that's it for this section.